Hey, movie fans, it's your boy Big G back with another review, and this time it's Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, I've seen this movie about twice. I watched it again just because I felt like I enjoyed it the first time. I did have some issues with it, yes, but however, overall, I think it's a really good movie. I think everyone should watch it. It's a fun time. It's a good ride. It's good little, suspense, heroic moments and everything. Very nice. Overall, really good movie. Um, specifically, all right, specifically, let's sort of break it down from the start. So, specifically, what I like about it. So, from the start, first of all, I love Spider Man. I love the character Spider Man. Now, in my opinion, Spider Man is a high school kid who's a very gifted high school kid, and he gets scholarships and all that, and he makes his own webs and very intelligent, and eventually gets the hottest girl in the school, which is MJ, and um, yeah, pretty much he's Spider Man, and he's spectacular, and he's amazing when he's Spider Man, and he's even when he's Spider Man, he's sort of like the merc with the mouth, kind of like he keeps making jokes and kind of pisses like the villains off in that way and stuff, and that's why I used to love him so much, even in the past. Um, so in this movie, I really love with the fact that they showed him again. They showed him young. He's in high school. It really made sense to me how okay, okay, he's going on a trip, and he just wants to be normal for like one summer. He wants to do his normal life. He wants to propose to a girl that he likes and wants to do the normal thing and not do the superhero thing, but he's in a world where pretty much the superheroes that take care of business are no longer there. They're after the whole Endgame, Infinity War Endgame, many superheroes died out, which was the very sad part, yes, but many superheroes died out, and they're not there anymore, and other superheroes which would usually do the cleanup job and take care of things, they're off world or unavailable or just nowhere to be found or something. So it pretty much the world sort of at the moment has to rely on this 16-year-old kid who's from Queens and just wants to be normal for once and just go on a little trip and propose to a girl and be bachelors in Europe or whatever, as his friend says. Um, I love that. I love all the locations that they picked. I loved the sort of a little bit of naiveness that they showed with Spider-Man because yes, he's young, so of course he's not mature, so there are certain decisions that he makes that are very childish, and therefore he makes them and then he learns from them throughout the movie, which were very good. Um, Overall, the character does a very good job. There are certain moments that I dislike in terms of I feel like he would have been a bit smarter because he is a genius after all. So he should have been a bit smarter because being genius is one thing, having common sense is another thing, and I felt like they showed that he didn't have common sense, which he should. I mean, he shouldn't be like I understand in many scenes he was very emotional and that really affected his judgment throughout the things, but that shouldn't have. I think that he should have thought it very clearly. Okay, now from the start, from the very beginning, the movie talks about blimping, right? So 5 years ago people disappeared, and then 5 years later after Endgame, all the people that disappeared, they showed up right in the same spot that they disappeared. So everyone that disappeared showed up in the same spot. So let's say, for example, in the movie they show how there was some kind of cheerleading band going on in the gym and everyone started disappearing. So the people that disappeared during that time, in that exact moment, come back in that exact spot in those exact moments with those exact clothes. Now they explain this because people that are left behind age 5 years, whereas the people that come back have not aged at all. Whereas the one thing that they don't explain, that people that vanished on highways, people that vanished on jobs, cleaning a window or something, or people that vanish, maybe, I don't know, cleaning or fixing an elevator. If they blimp back in one of those situations, they pretty much died. And no one talked about that, which was very, very stupid in my opinion, and I hated that. I felt like they could have came up with a better reasoning, or maybe just altered it where, I don't know, everyone came back to one spot or something, or somehow the world should have been notified, or something where people don't blimp back, get crushed by a car, so you come back for a second and then get run over by a car or truck and just die again, which was very stupid in my opinion, because every person that blimps comes back in the exact same spot. So everyone that blimps off of a highway, fixing something, or cleaning a roof or something, elevator's not there, your car's not there, so another car is there, you get run over, or you fall off the roof, or you're fixing an elevator and the elevator's not there, so you fall on the elevator and then you get crushed, or some shit like that happens, which is very stupid in my opinion. Okay, moving on. They didn't really give a reason why they're taking a trip. It was just, we're taking a trip. That's it. It's a school trip. And the teachers are just so stupid that they didn't check with pretty much all the historical sites that they're open. So as soon as they get there, the historical sites are like under renovation, and pretty much they don't know what to do. It's like the teachers are more childish than the students. Like I understand it was all fun and games, and they just needed a reason to Spider-Man to just get out of town and go to Europe or whatever, but give us a better reason. It can't just be, okay, a school field trip where teachers don't even know where they're taking, well, they know where they're taking their kids, but they don't know if the museum or the library there is actually open or under renovation, or actually they've booked it or anything. Like the hotel they go into is under renovation. The place they're visiting is also under renovation and completely closed, the museum. So pretty much the trip to whole Venice is all waste, and waste of money on the teacher's part and the student's part. Like, that was just very bizarre to me. That was very, very bizarre to me. Now, moving on, Spider-Man, he encounters these elementals, and Mysterio comes out of nowhere, and says he's from a different world. Now, I've read the comics. I know who Mysterio is. I know every Spider-Man villain, and I knew he was a villain from the start. It was not a suspense to me that he turned bad, but the way they did it, in my opinion, was very well, because Mysterio is a master of disguise and illusions and manipulation and stuff, and they did that so perfectly that hats off to that. Now, secondly, they okay, I don't want to jump ahead, so I'm gonna step back a little bit. So he encounters Mysterio, that okay, he's a superhero, and then he fought the water elemental in Venice, and Spider-Man tried to help, but he couldn't a little bit because he didn't have a suit, and then at the same time he's ghosting Nick Fury, which is kind of a bad thing, um, which I have an issue with, but I'll get that to an end, at the very end. Um, yeah, he meets Nick Fury, and then they go into the secret lair. They explain everything, how Beck is from a different world, and his world has been destroyed by the elementals. The elemental come here, they try to destroy this. You got to save them, everyone, pretty much. Again, he doesn't want to do that because he's like, you know what? Oh, Beck, you're here. You can take care of this. I'm just a kid. I'm just a 16-year-old kid. Leave me alone. Let me go have fun in Europe and not be Spider-Man for once. And in my opinion, yeah, that was the kid side of him. But after seeing everything he's seen, or been through everything he's been through, um, going through space and everything, like, come on, it's like, you are an Avenger. Step up. Like, great power comes with great responsibility. That stuff is not just a saying. It means something, and he should have been like, okay, like, I understand why they did the whole thing where they didn't have him step up, but I would have loved to see one moment where he says, you know what, okay, I'm gonna step up, and I'm gonna do this, not the fact that, okay, I'm not gonna step up. So if you need my help, I'm there. Otherwise, I'm not there. And all of a sudden, okay, they need his help, so he's there, and then he fucks up everything, and then he just has to fix it, which is, in my opinion, not technically being there in the first place, not taking the responsibility, not taking care of the situation in the first place. That's just cleaning up your own mess. And that was one flaw I had in the movie, which is a good flaw because that makes up the movie. But in my opinion, that was sort of a flaw in like the character development, and that was something that I didn't like personally. I'm sure people might disagree with me, but that's what I didn't like personally. Moving on, let's talk about the glasses. Oh my god. First of all, I love the glasses. I love Edith. Love the whole concept. I loved how Tony Stark sort of handed the mantle down to him. He knows that Peter Parker is a genius. He knows that Peter Parker is an inventor. Tony Stark knows that Peter Parker can carry on and do the job that can be an Iron Man technically. But being Iron Man is too big, is something that even Tony can't do, and Happy says that in the end of the movie, close to the end of the movie, in the climax pretty much. But Spider-Man needs to be the best version of Spider-Man to be known as sort of to be known as the next Iron Man, I would say. And in my opinion, he grows into that. This movie is all about Spider-Man growing into to being the next Iron Man, and they do that very well here, I think, in the movie, where they show that, okay, he's making childish decisions, he's running away from his responsibilities in a sense. He just wants to be normal, just wants a normal life, and that's not a bad thing. No way that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But then you see how he still does the superhero gig, and then he kind of messes up, but then he fixes it and he grows and he becomes this person where he's starting to, like, make suits and get things right and use his gadgets right and fix things, kind of. That's like summing up the movie in a bit. But yeah, so I love the glasses. However, I would have loved him to be like, oh my god, I just got multi-billion-dollar glasses that just have so much power into them, that just have a whole defense technology that can save the entire world of something, that I'm going to be a bit more responsible with them. And okay, let's not say be a bit more responsible. Yeah, they did the whole thing where he's not responsible with stuff, so I guess I understood that, but I would understand that he should be a bit more, at least, enthusiastic about it, where he'd be like, oh my god, I just have these so cool glasses, I should explore. And I would have loved to see him explore the glasses a little bit more. What can you do? Can you manipulate other people's texts? Like, childish things like that through the glasses would have been better. Yes, he did one childish thing where he tried to blow up his friend, but I think that was by accident, and again, he fixed it at the end. But the worst part, I think, in the movie, that I just did not understand and did not like, was handing the glasses over to Beck. And the glasses, when he puts it on initially, they recognize everyone, then they give a little bio and a photo and everything about everyone. But when he wears the glasses and he says, I want to give them to Quentin Beck, I think that's his name, aka Mysterio, the glasses don't recognize Quentin Beck at all. They don't give any information about Quentin Beck at all. They don't tell him anything about it. And then he says, I want to transfer all authority over to Quentin Beck, and I want to give the glasses over to him. That's what he says to Edith. And Edith is like, are you sure? And they still don't give any information, because maybe it's not programmed to. Maybe that's just a flaw in the movie. But I think the glasses should have recognized the person. The glasses, as soon as he puts it on, they should have recognized that he's surrounded by holograms. He's not surrounded by real people. He's surrounded by illusions and holograms, because that's what the glasses do. They recognize things. They tell him about his surroundings. They keep him safe, and then they give him the tools to keep the world safe. Technically, in my opinion, that's where the glasses for. They were for the next Iron Man. They were for the inventor to use as a tool to help and save the world. In exchange, the glasses help him know his surroundings and, I think, be safer. That's in my opinion, that's probably the best version of the glasses, but the glasses don't do that, and that's a big flaw in my opinion in the movie, which they exploited, because I think that was the only way they get the glasses to Mysterio, and then he becomes an even bigger villain all of a sudden. Um, Coming back to a little bit of positives, again, I loved Mysterio. I loved his character. I loved how they showed that in the past, yes, he did work with Tony, and then he had his illusion technology. Illusion. I think it's illusion, and what's it called? Something. I'm forgetting the word, and I know I'm using the wrong word with illusions. It is sort of illusions, but it's also holograms. Yeah, hologramic technology, and Tony Stark uses as a therapeutic way and calls it, I think fart or something like that, something not good, and that pisses Quentin Beck off, and that sort of messes him up in the head, and then you see Quentin Beck sort of forming alliance with all these people that have been fired or have been wronged in some way by Tony Stark, because they've been either working for the bad people or just working on tech that Tony Stark thinks was not very revolutionary, was just good but not very revolutionary, and that pissed them off and drove them to pretty much, I guess, be a own superhero and make a lot of money out of it. I think that was the objective. Um, to make illusions so real that Quentin Beck becomes an Avenger all of a sudden, and then the one thing I didn't understand, going back to the negative part, one thing I didn't understand was what would they do? What would Mysterio do if a real Avenger type emergency or threat level came up? Like, what would he do then? Because he's just a person in a mask and working with illusions and stuff, and I'm sure robots and stuff they can do certain stuff, but they can't help with like an alien invasion and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, aka, taking back example from Age of Ultron, but so that was a whole question that I had, but that was never answered, I guess. But either way, yeah, so I loved the villain backstory, and that really sort of developed the villain very quickly. Moving on, MJ does find out who Peter Parker is, like he is Spider-Man. She sort of figures it out, and then even though she does like him, she's more interested in that because she's driven to tell the truth. Coming back, and then that was, I guess, that's a good thing, because that tells us that she's not just a pretty face, but quite a bit like intelligent and everything. But at the same time, in my opinion, MJ is a redhead. She's super hot. She's a cheerleader, but at the same time, she's super nice and stuff. And she falls for this nerdy but very nice guy who is Peter Parker. She is friends with him, but then she falls for him as soon as she finds out that he is Spider-Man, and that really works for his favor. But they sort of did that in a way in this movie, sort of in their own version. Moving on, I like the climax, and I don't know what they're gonna do now, because the whole world knows that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and J. Jonah Jameson or Johnson, I forgot his name, but he exposed Spider-Man, and he made Quentin Beck the superhero off of a faulty video, which could have easily gone through some kind of recognition and some kind of filters to find out if it's very authentic and very natural taken, but that doesn't happen. It's very manipulative, and of course that's news, that's how it is. Either way, overall, there are goods and bads in the movie. However, it's a very fun ride. It's a very fun movie. I would, of course, since I've watched it for the second time, I would say yes, it's very good to watch it for the second time. Of course, some movies are like that. Some movies aren't. I guess Marvel does a good job in the sense that yes, they make movies that you can always watch for the second time. However, yes, the downsides very upsetted me in a sense, but that did not take away from the movie, and therefore I think it's a very solid 7.5 out of 10, I would say. Tell me your opinions in the comment below, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm right. Please like and subscribe. Please do support the channel. I do try to put out reviews as soon as I see the movies. Have been pretty busy since I'm an architecture student and I have to do a lot of modeling and stuff. But however, when I do watch movies, I do put on the reviews. So please, guys, do like and subscribe and do support the channel. Your man, Big G, out. Thank you.